in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles. Well, it's Tuesday night again. Time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, Jimmy Cash, and Paul Whiteman and his music. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Well, now it's just after breakfast at the Burns house, and we find George and Gracie still in the dining room. George reading his morning paper, and Gracie deeply engrossed in a fascinating new book.
Let me see. The blue ones are for canned goods, and the red ones are for meat, butter, fat, cheeses.
Gracie, what are you mumbling about?
Nothing, dear. I'm just looking at my ration book. Say, 2 pounds of short ribs equal 1 pound of butter, unless they have the bone taken out. Of course, in which case they equal 3 cans of tuna fish. Now,
Are you sure you understand how this thing works?
Oh, George, it's the simplest thing in the world. Of course I understand it. Why, it's who does?
Look, it's very simple. The blue stamps are for canned goods, and the red stamps are for meat.
I wish there were more red stamps. I love meat. Say, I wonder how much the cleaner would charge to dye the blue stamps red. Forget it, huh?
I would, yes. All you have to remember is not to spend more than your quota of points. When those red and blue coupons are gone, you're sunk.
Well, I'd still have the white coupons left in the other book.
No, but all you can get with those is coffee, sugar, and shoes. And you wouldn't like that.
No. I like coffee, sugar, and cream.
Yeah. That's because shoes are harder to pour. Yeah.
Excuse me, George. There's someone at the door.
Good morning, Mrs. Burns. And top of the morning to you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Postman, and the rest of it to you. How are you feeling today?
Glorious, Mrs. Burns. Simply glorious. This spring air is such a tonic. Every time I take a deep breath, I just want to cry out with ecstasy.
Well, don't hold yourself back. Go ahead.
Thanks. Oh, now I feel better.
Well, I must try that sometime. Any mail for us this morning, Mr. Postman?
Yes, indeed. A whole raft of seeds and gardening magazines.
Oh, yes, I sent away for those. I'm going to surprise George. We're going to have a victory garden in the backyard.
Oh, your husband will love working in the garden. That's what keeps me the muscular, clear-eyed specimen of rugged manhood I am.
Well, of course, our victory garden will just be on a small scale. A few radishes, onions, tomatoes, corn, wheat, barley, rye, oats, alfalfa, hay.
All that?
Well, the cow will have to have something to eat.
Are you going to keep a cow in the backyard?
Oh, well, I can't keep her in the house. You should have heard the fuss George raised when my mother stayed with us.
Oh, goodness. You're going to have a regular farm.
Yes, we're even going to raise chickens. In fact, George is inside sitting on the eggs right now.
Your husband is going to hatch the chickens?
Yeah, but he doesn't know it. You see, I hid the eggs under the cushion of his easy chair.
You're a character, Mrs. Burns. Well, lots of luck with your farm.
Oh, well, thank you, and goodbye, Mr. Postman.
Goodbye, Mrs. Burns. Remember, keep smiling.
Oh, I wonder if it'll be hard for me to change from Gracie Allen, the beautiful, sophisticated city girl, into Gracie Allen, the farmer. Let's see now. Morning, Mrs. Higgins. Can I help you churn the margarine? Why, it's easy.
Who was that, Gracie? The postman?
Yep, sure was, by cracky.
By cracky?
Yeah, that's farmer talk, by heck.
Gracie, do you feel all right?
Tolerable, Hiram, tolerable.
Hiram? Tolerable? What is all this?
Well, George, we're through with the hollow sham of city life. We're going back to the soil. I've decided to plant a victory garden.
Well, that's fine. A victory garden is a swell idea. But we don't have to make ourselves for Lum and Abner.
Oh, a farmer, George. It's so helpful breathing in that fresh, clean, sweet morning air as you feed the pigs.
Oh, stop.
I know a lovely poem about country life. Would you like me to recite it for you?
Well,
Of course you would. The curfew parts the toll of homeward day. The weary cows wind slowly up a tree. The world plods o'er the lea when Nell's away and leaves the plowman in the dark with me. Beautiful, huh?
yeah, the greatest thing of its kind. Look, we're not going to have a farm. All we're going to have is a victory garden.
Yeah, just a sweet little victory garden. And I'll be at your side singing an old country song to cheer you on. We'll work together with a yo-ho-ho. You'll hoe and I'll hoe.
We'll both hoe? I thought maybe you'd like to yo and I'll hoe.
Won't you love getting up at 4 o'clock every morning to milk the cow?
Yes, I'll yo and you'll yo, yeah. Look, if I had a cow, I couldn't milk it.
Oh, you could, too. You squeeze oranges beautifully, and they don't even have a gadget on them.
Gracie, if you don't mind, I'll stick to oranges. I have yet to have an orange kick me.
Hiya, people. What's new?
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Bill. I'm so glad you came. Now you can take our order.
Order?
Yes, you know, we farmers don't get to see you traveling salesmen very often.
I'm a traveling salesman?
Yeah, Bill, that's what you are, and Gracie wants me to be a farmer. Isn't that silly? What do I know about vegetables?
Are you kidding? I remember your vaudeville act.
I don't see anything funny.
Gee, Gracie, I wish I were a traveling salesman because I'd like to travel from one end of this country to the other and tell everybody about the wonderful offer the Swan people are making. Now, they'll send you a rainbow assortment of 8 gladiolus bulbs, including a special feature bulb called the Swan White for only 10 cents and the wrapper from any size cake of Swan soap.
Really, Bill?
Oh, yes. And these gladiolus bulbs are the kind florists use for their choicest cut flowers. And they'll grow in a few weeks into big, satiny blooms of all colors, with as many as 16 flowers to each stem, some of them as large as 4 inches across.
Oh, Bill, can I get some to beautify our farm? How do you get them?
Well, Gracie, we'd like to have the people write into you for the gladiolus bulbs. They just send a dime and 1 swan wrapper to Gracie Allen, Box 7, New York City.
Gracie Allen, Box 7, New York City. Well, I'll have to sit right down and write myself a letter.
Swell, Gracie. Well, I'll be running along now.
Well, come back later, Bill. We may have a quilting party or something.
A quilting party?
Yeah, now that we're farmers, we'll have quilting parties, husking bees, square dances.
Square dances?
Uh-huh.
Well, Gracie, that's my meat. You know, I love to call a good square dance. Oh, swing your partner, a do-si-do, a promenade left,
Bill.
all in a row.
Bill.
To get gladiolus bulbs 8 at a time,
Bill.
send a swan wrapper and a dime.
Bill.
To Miss Gracie Allen, so sweet and pretty,
Look.
care of Box 7, New York City. Now all join hands for the grand promenade.
Yeah.
Best darn offer ever was made.
Oh.
So get those bulbs,
Bill.
a do-si-do.
Bill, go.
Isn't he cute, George?
Yes, he's a regular suds and whiz.
Oh, I have a wonderful idea. Let's adopt Tootsie Sagwell.
Adopt Tootsie Sagwell?
Well, certainly. We're farmers, and if we adopt her, she'll be a farmer's daughter, and if Bill is a traveling salesman...
Never mind.
This is Paul Whiteman. Here's a tune that haunts you. A tune that really gets under your skin. Yes, sir, it's that old black magic.
But, Gracie, just look at this backyard of ours. It's so small. By the time we put a victory garden in here, we just won't have room for one of those.
George, we've got to have one. My grandfather's farm had one.
But we don't need one, sweetheart. Besides, they don't build them anymore.
Oh, sure they do. Whenever you drive through the country, you see one in the back of every farmhouse.
We have no use for one, sweetheart. Our house is modern.
Oh, all right. But I still say a farm isn't a farm without a well.
Well, we'll just have to get along without one.
Yes, dear. Now listen to the way I've got everything arranged. Right over there, we'll plant one radish vine or bush or whatever it is. That'll give us enough radishes for years and years.
From one plant?
Oh, George, you don't know anything about farming. Haven't you ever heard that radishes repeat?
Oh, yes. I remember hearing that.
And now, right over here, next to my swan gladiolus bulbs, I'll plant a few acres of potatoes. And then...
few acres?
Yes. And...
Gracie, do you know how big an acre is?
Well, I suppose it depends on the size of the acre.
Yes, there are big acres and little ones.
Yeah. Well, we've just got
buy them in a paper bag.
Yeah, oh, do you? Well, we've just got to raise potatoes, George. Remember that every potato that we grow will release a potato for some soldier to peel.
Yes, we must take care of the boys on KP.
Yes. Of course, we've got to help all these things grow ourselves, dear. I read somewhere that plants need vitamins, so I'll take those super pep pills out of your medicine cabinet and put a pill in with each tomato plant.
What? Those expensive pills of mine?
But, darling, you never take them yourself.
Of course I take them. I take one of those super pep pills every morning.
Really?
Certainly.
Oh, dear. Then I guess they wouldn't do the tomatoes much good either.
No, they'll come up pretty, but weak.
Oh, there's the man I've been expecting. You stay here and water the chores.
What man?
Now, I'll be right back. Hello.
Howdy.
I suppose you're the man from the employment agency?
Yes, and they said you wanted somebody to do the heavy work on the farm.
That's correct. I need a hired man. What's your name?
William Wright, ma'am.
Have you a middle name?
Horace, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. William Horace Wright.
Yes.
I'll call you Zeke.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any experience on a farm, Zeke?
Oh, yes. I've spent most of my life on one. Never done much else.
Well, of course, that may be true, but before I hire you, I ought to make sure that you're really an expert.
Yes.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about farming?
No, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh. How many legs has a sheep?
4.
Good. You're hired.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. But where is this farm?
Right out there, see?
Where?
There. The east pasture is in front of the barbecue pit. And you'll be able to see the west pasture after we move the garbage pail.
Lady, maybe this ain't the job for me after all.
Oh, you mustn't feel that way, Zeke. I always say, oh, wait. I've got an idea. Why don't we let my husband be the hired man so he can have muscles like yours and let you do his work?
Well, that all depends, ma'am. What does your husband do? I said, what does your husband do?
Just a minute. I'm trying to think.
Oh.
You have breakfast about 11, then read the morning paper until you've won the war. Then you go into the den to work.
What kind of work?
Well, I'm not sure, but after a few hours, you come out and see if I bought another new hat. And I seldom disappoint you.
Is that all I do?
Oh, no. You've got to hate my mother, too.
What?
Oh, and I almost forgot. 2 nights a week, you fool me completely.
How?
Well, on Tuesday nights, you tell me you're going to a conference. That's a poker game.
Yeah.
And on Saturday nights, you tell me you're going to a lecture. That's a burlesque show.
Well, lady, I'm just a farmhand.
You might as well start to work right away. Just put your feet on the table, and I'll bring you some cigars.
Oh, it ain't real. Stuff just like this just don't happen, that's all.
Gracie, I finished the, Hey, who are you?
I ain't sure, but I think I'm the hired man.
Hired man? Hired to do what?
Smoke cigars and go to burlesque shows?
Are you a little bit nuts?
No. No, but the lady who hired me might be. She wants her husband to do the farm work so he'll get to look like me.
Well, I happen to be her husband.
Oh, gosh, if I do your work, I might get to look like you. Goodbye.
Well, of all the... Gracie. Oh, Gracie.
Yes, dear. Where's Zeke?
I got rid of him. We don't need a hired man for a little victory garden.
Oh, all right. But now you have to do your work and his, too. You'll have to go to the burlesque show and take care of the cow.
Look, we're not going to have a cow. I told you I don't even know how to milk one.
I know. That's why I ordered an electric milker.
An electric milker?
Sure, it's a real convenience. If we want a glass of milk, all we have to do is plug in the cow.
Well, I get it.
Jimmy Cash has a favorite tune, and maybe it's a favorite of yours, too. Can't you hear me calling Caroline? All right, Jimmy.
I miss you in the morning when old Bob White gives his call. Caroline, Caroline. I miss you at the sunset when the evening shadows fall. Caroline, Caroline. I miss you when the moonbeams out on the river shine. Oh, can't you hear me calling for you, Caroline? Can't you hear me calling, Caroline? It's my heart a-calling dying. Lordy, how I miss you, gal of mine. Wish that I could kiss you, Caroline. Ain't no use now for the sun to shine, Caroline, Caroline. Can't you hear my lips a-saying? Can't you hear my soul praying? Can't you hear me calling,
Gracie, let's just settle for a little victory garden. We don't know anything about farming.
Well, I do. My grandmother and grandfather had a farm, and when I was 6 years old, I spent 2 whole days on it. So naturally, I know all about farming.
Oh, naturally. You're an authority.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, dear, you just didn't marry an ordinary woman.
You're telling me.
And besides, dear, I want you to be a great man. And practically all of our great men came from farms. Look at our presidents. Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Floyd Bunce, Calvin Coolidge.
Floyd Bunce?
Yes,
Floyd Bunce was a president?
sure. President of the Can't Creep Girdle Company.
Oh, yes. He's been associated with some of our biggest national figures. Now, look, sweetheart.
Oh, it's my darling little ducky. Oh, Mama has some wonderful news for you, Herman. We're going to be farmers just like my grandma and grandpa. Yes, really. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Come on, Bill. Hi, Herman.
Ah, yes, and to think I could save 15 points by eating that thing.
Oh, now, Herman, we mustn't blame Daddy for being upset. All farmers have big problems today. He has to worry about the cows and the chickens and... Oh, I just remembered. We'll have to get a rooster. A cute little rooster. Oh, Herman. Herman, you're jealous. Oh, well, don't worry, darling. We won't get one. Would you like to be Mama's little rooster? All right. Now, the first thing every morning when you get up, you ruffle your feathers, you spread out your wings, and lay an egg. But, Herman, the most important thing a rooster does is crow. Now, let Mama hear you crow, darling. Now, try again. That's not bad for a little duck. Now, let's show Daddy. Oh, George, come on and... Oh, Bill, are you back?
Yes, Gracie.
Oh, boys, Herman has just learned to do the cleverest thing. Herman, show your Daddy George how you got to greet him every morning.
Oh, go on.
Oh,
Silly
no, Herman. That's the way you greet him now. He's learned to crow like a rooster, George. And he's going to wake you up at 4 o'clock every morning.
Now, wait a minute. He's not going to...
Well, that's when Grandma and Grandpa always get up. Now, come on, Herman. You've got to practice your crowing, huh?
See what I mean, Bill? Now she wants me to be like her grandfather.
Even more?
This is no joke. I don't want to live like her grandfather did.
Well, now, look, George, if you want Gracie to drop this idea, tell her she'll have to live like her grandmother did. She won't put up with those hardships.
What do you mean?
Well, tell her she has to spin the cloth to make her own clothes.
Oh, I get it. And I'll tell her she has to use goose grease and flour as cosmetics.
Right.
Dip her own candle.
Good.
Make her own soap.
Wonderful.
Do all her own.
Wait a minute. Did you say make her own soap? Do you mean that you'd take Gracie Swan's soap away from her?
Well, Bill, you said
I said to make her endure a few hardships, not torture her out of her mind.
Well, forget it.
Forget what?
Forget that.
Forget that every woman has two inalienable rights? The right to change her mind and the right to use Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles? Money can't buy a purer soap. No, sir.
Oh, Bill, I didn't realize...
You didn't realize what?
I didn't realize...
You didn't realize that Swan is great for bathing the baby, I suppose. You didn't realize that it's so mild it's kind even to a little baby's tender skin. You didn't realize that, therefore, it must be wonderful for your hands and face, your tub or shower. You didn't realize.
Oh, look, I didn't mean to say...
You didn't mean to say what?
I didn't mean
You
to
didn't
say...
mean to say that
Oh,
Swan...
shut up! Hey, I'm trying to tell you that I was carried away by your idea, and I said make her own soap before I thought. Now, stop shouting at me.
Well, I'm sorry, George.
You ought to be.
I've lost my head. It's just that whenever I think of someone having their Swan soap taken away from them, I just can't stand it. Especially women. You see, women have long considered Castile soap the standard of purity, but Swan is even purer than finest Castiles. Give me your handkerchief, George.
Oh, fine. All right, Bubble Boy, you wait here. I'll go in and try the idea on Gracie.
All right, darling. Now try once more. Why, that's wonderful. Mama's so proud of her clever little ducky.
Gracie, can I talk to you a minute?
Yes, dear.
Look, sweetheart, I've changed my mind about the swan business. I've decided that we ought to live just like your grandma and your grandpa
Why,
did.
George, that's marvelous.
Yep. From now on, we'll just work on the farm. No more poker games, no more golf, no more beauty shops.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. What was that last item again, dear?
No more beauty shops.
But, George...
Grandma never used powder or lipstick or nail polish in her life. And she didn't know what it was to have her hair done.
My, she was a sloppy old girl, wasn't she?
And another thing, you'll have to give up your fur coat. Grandma never had one.
But, George...
Well, Gracie, you don't need a fur coat to raise cabbages, you know.
But couldn't I sort of do half of each?
What do you mean?
Well, couldn't I raise Brussels sprouts and wear a short fur jacket?
No, Gracie, you're going to live just like your grandma.
But don't forget, Grandma was an older woman.
Well, she was your age once.
Oh, no. As far back as I can remember, she was older than I was.
Well, anyway, it's your choice, Gracie. Either we have a victory garden and live like everybody else, or we have a farm and you live just like your grandma.
Well, all right, George. I know I'll hate myself for it, but I've decided.
Good.
I'll take the farm and live like Grandma did.
Oh, no.
Yes. Goodbye, George. I'm going upstairs to pack.
To pack?
Certainly. Grandma hated the farm. She left for the city when she was 19. Goodbye, George.
Come back, dear. Come
back. George and Gracie will be back in a moment. Meanwhile, friends, don't forget to send for Swan's Rainbow Gladiolus Garden. 8 gladiolus bulbs to brighten up your victory garden or your yard. And you get them all for 1 Swan wrapper, any size, and only 10 cents in coin. Just send to Gracie Allen, Box 7, New York City. These bulbs are from pedigreed stock, just the kind florists use for their choicest cut flowers. They give you a rainbow of big, beautiful blooms, including a separately wrapped feature bulb, the amazing Swan White Glad. So don't delay, friends. Send a Swan wrapper and a dime for each set of 8 bulbs to Gracie Allen, Box 7, New York City. And now, here are George and Gracie.
Well, you were right all the time, George. We'll just have a sweet little victory garden.
Good. We'll plant some asparagus.
And we'll plant some beets on top of it.
On top of it?
Uh-huh. So when the asparagus starts to come up, it'll tickle the beets on the bottom, and they'll come up sooner.
Oh, no.
The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in to your CBS station again next week, same time. Remember, George Burns and Gracie Allen, CBS next Tuesday night. And don't forget to listen to Swan's other show, Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou, next Friday night over another network. And now till next week, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I, Swan, how about you? Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.